Gail's Kitchen. Today I'm in the mood for cinnamon rolls, and I'm going to show you how to make a very simple cinnamon roll recipe. We're going to take a roll of Crescent Rolls and we're going to lay them out, and we're going to wipe some butter on each side, and then we're going to sprinkle one side with cinnamon sugar, and then we're going to roll them up and bake them. And when they come out of the oven, we're going to ice them with a very simple powdered sugar glaze. You're just going to separate the pieces of dough, and then you're going to lay them out flat on a surface like a cutting board. And you want to lay them out flat with the part that was rolled up on the bottom. And we're going to coat each side with melted butter. I microwaved 2 tablespoons of butter, and going to use this little pastry brush, and we're just going to wipe down the back side of each one. Once you have each of the sections wiped down with some melted butter, we're just going to transfer them to another surface with wax paper, and we're just going to lay the buttered side down, and then we're going to butter the other side. These cinnamon rolls are going to be so good, and they're just so easy to make. I just woke up with a hankering for cinnamon rolls this morning. It snowed overnight. I'm not going to run out to the store, so just going to make my own. So now we have all 8 pieces coated on both sides with melted butter, and now we're just going to sprinkle on our cinnamon sugar. If you don't have any store-bought cinnamon sugar, you can make your own by mixing a 1/4 cup of sugar with a tablespoon of cinnamon. Sprinkle about a tablespoon of the cinnamon sugar mixture over each section until they're completely covered. And now all we have to do is roll them up, and we're going to start from the small section and roll them till the end. So you're just going to take the small end and just begin rolling. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just going to roll them up. So now we have all 8 pieces rolled up, and I like to just kind of roll the outside in a little bit of leftover cinnamon sugar and coat the outside. And what we're going to do today is bake these up in the air fryer. If you don't have an accessory for your air fryer, you can make your own little pan using aluminum foil. All I do is cut a piece about so wide and just lay it into the pan of the air fryer, and just mash it down and shape it until you have a little pan. And then I just leave a piece hanging over, which makes it easy to lift this. I'm just going to brush the bottom and the sides of our aluminum foil before we lay our cinnamon rolls in the bottom. So we're just going to take the cinnamon rolls and set them inside the air fryer about 1 inch apart. And this is 8 Crescent Rolls, and it'll work out beautifully in this size air fryer. And if they start to come apart when you move them, it's very easy just to lay them back down and just roll them back up again. Like I said, they don't need to look any particular way. And now we're going to air fry them on 350 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes. I like to go ahead and make the icing while the cinnamon rolls are cooking. So you're just going to sift about 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. To that, you're going to add a tablespoon of milk and a little bit of vanilla. And we have homemade vanilla. If you haven't checked out the video on how to make your own homemade vanilla, you should, because it is so good. The flavor is so different than store-bought vanilla. So good. So that's enough of the powdered sugar. So we have 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, and we sifted it. Powdered sugar and cocoa both really need to be sifted because they get lumps in them. It's just a little bit of moisture that's in them. Add our tablespoon of milk. And I like to mix this up in a measuring cup because that makes it just easy to pour this icing right on top of our cinnamon rolls. And you see it kind of looks like a little bit of a paste. So we're going to add a little bit of vanilla. Let's add 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. And that's going to add a little bit more liquid in there, and we may not need to add any more milk, but we can certainly thin the consistency of our icing if we want, after we see what this little bit of vanilla does. So there's our icing, and I think that consistency is exactly what we want. So the one thing when you're making your icing, it's always better to leave it on the thick side and add just a little bit of liquid rather than adding too much liquid and then having to constantly try to stir in some dry ingredients. It's just a lot easier to thin the thick paste than to thicken a thin paste. Okay, our cinnamon rolls cooked for 8 minutes at 350 in the air fryer. And I'm going to remove our little homemade pan, and let's see how they look. So this is our cinnamon rolls. Now going to pour the icing on them, and we're going to have a very quick, easy dessert or quick, easy breakfast. So let's ice these cinnamon rolls and have some with a cup of coffee. So let's just give our icing another little stir. We are just going to drizzle this over our air fryer cinnamon rolls. Something that we can just whip up on a nice cool morning for a quick breakfast. Something we can whip up when the kids get home from school. Something that is so tasty, so quick, requires very few ingredients. And there are our homemade cinnamon rolls cooked up in the air fryer, 8 minutes.